well too.
Do we need 2 for 4 people?
There's no one else here, but we can do a roll call. Chris Valle.
Here.
Vic Christensen.
Here.
Melanie Lebrecht.
Here.
Christian Guzman is present. Okay, go ahead, Melanie. Thank you for the
Okay.
reminder, Chris.
So the group that I'm in that I was selected for, and it's just 2 people from each region were selected for the EVG hybrid group that's meeting with Raquel is like the chair, and then there's several like bonk commissioners in it and stuff like that. And what it is discussing about neighborhood councils going hybrid and what this looks like and what it's going to happen. Part of the reason for this is because the way, even though bonk extended us meeting Zoom until the 31st of December, technically the emergency order that for the Brown Act, to suspend the Brown Act the way it reads and to be able to meet virtually, was only extended by the governor until the 30th of September. So unless this act that's in the Senate, state Senate right now, and they vote on it soon, and the governor signs it, it puts us where we have to meet in person as of October 1. So what they're trying to do is you have like a 2-week leeway for the governor to sign it. Part of the problem that we're going to face, and we've talked about it at Budget and Finance last night, is we're holding off doing the MPGs right now. Normally we would have done them in December, but we are not doing them because City Council was asked to provide money to each neighborhood council out of the emergency funds that they got for COVID relief, to give each neighborhood council a set amount to get the tools that they need to go hybrid. They voted no. So what they're trying to do is challenge that. But if we were to go to Zoom as of October, if they make us do this, we are put upon each 99 neighborhood councils to have to buy the equipment that we need to do this. So that means a camera, it means a monitor, it means mics, clip-on mics to be ready, and all sanitation products that you need. Plus, we'll have to figure out some way to police whatever mandates they put as far as vaccination required, or the amount of people allowed to attend, or mass, whatever they put in, plus implement our own spacing of regulations to space everybody out and protocols. So I brought up to them, what happens when you go have people, well, like me, for instance, who's immune compromised, where my safety, I'm not real ready for a crowded room yet to meet inside in a poorly ventilated place. And there are other people that feel the same way. Is there an option to attend or not attend to be on Zoom? And I guess what they're looking at is allowing some board members to be in person and some not to be there. So you would actually need a moderator to control out of that, to know who is where. And then preferably it's somebody like Andrew who would be paid to do that versus a board member. So it really is a conundrum. And we're only in the midst of our meetings. There's still 3 more to go. And so I don't want to make any public comment or anything like that at the board until I know everything is concise, the message that they want sent out.
Thank you, Melanie. I totally understand this concern. I think that the public still isn't taking this all seriously. And I think that there will be a way to blend kind of the digital and physical meeting. I certainly do miss the physical meetings, but I think we do want to err on the side of caution. And I think Andrew, someone like Andrew would be a good person, like you said. So thank you for sharing, Melanie. What do you
Sure.
need us to do with regards to this?
Okay, so nothing, just to be aware that spending, why we are not going to do right now the as we originally planned to do the MPGs, we're going to hold off until the first of the year. Because we may have to use that money to buy equipment. If we don't get any money, because cameras, as Chris knows, cameras can be expensive. A monitor can be expensive. They may tell us certain stuff that we have to get. It may
Right.
be,
Well, and although I think we're technically not supposed to comment on public comments
right,
for the sake of this. I can tell you that the hardware end of it might not be terribly complicated. I mean, a monitor, a couple $100, a camera, maybe $100 or whatever. The logistical support. I mean, do we have an internet connection?
no, we
inside?
don't. And see,
Right.
our meeting place is going to be a conundrum too. We may have to change where we meet to go
Yeah,
hybrid.
which is a whole different set of like our meetings may or may not be okayed
'Cause-
for public attendance, but the places that we would consider going may, like just like the Department of Neighborhood Empowerment saying that our meetings should be public, or city council saying that, doesn't mean that city parks or the police station is necessarily going to be public.
Right, exactly. And the thing is too, they're saying, like, for instance, Rec and Park where we meet isn't ventilated. So we wouldn't be able to meet there because there's no cross ventilation in there. Also, there's no Wi-Fi.
Yeah.
And we can't pay another city entity for their Wi-Fi.
Well, and even if we could, the amount of time it would take to get that done would be prohibitive. Yeah, and then the fact is Andrew's already contracted to provide audio services or whatever. But running the stuff for the additional stuff for a live stream meeting may or may not be something one person can handle along with those other things. And I don't know if it's been discussed with him.
So probably.
Okay, thank you, Mr. Vice President. Thank you, Madam Treasurer. We do have a hand raised from
Okay,
one of our fellow council members, so let's go ahead and take her comment. I'm not sure if it's on the same topic, if it's on a different topic. If it's on the same topic, we probably would want to end it there because we have 5 council members currently here. So let's take the topic from our fellow councilwoman and then see what that comment's about.
Well, yes, this is public comment, but I want to know, I would love to speak whenever it's appropriate for board meeting schedule setting requests. Perhaps it's appropriate in public comment. Let me know.
Yep. Christian, are you still there?
Yeah, go ahead.
Okay, so I have been working at Coastal San Pedro, the neighborhood council, last month had a gentleman, Scott Sturgis from Nanette Barragon's office, speak and give a presentation on what Nanette Barragon and Senator Feinstein are doing on the federal side in order to try to achieve federal funding for the study of the full comprehensive accounting for and potential cleanup of that dumping out there in the channel. So I had reached out to Sean Kearns because Scott Sturgis is no longer with the office. They are fairly understaffed there, and I've been trying to invite him for 2 weeks now. But I would like to have it agendized because I've also reached out to Senator Feinstein's office and they seem more amenable to it. They gave a presentation at the South Bay Cities Coalition of Governments. I think that's what the C is. With Sean Kearns, and there is another representative over there, Ms. Camacho. And it's a fairly important concern, so I'm hoping that we can agendize that. Additionally, and I've spoken with Melanie as the public safety chair. This is a separate comment. There is a gentleman named Armando Cabrera, who is over at the Department of Sanitation up on the hill. There are offices up there. He is an environmental compliance inspector with the Livability Services Department, which is a brand new department and growing quite exponentially. His job is intricately, I mean, intrinsically combined with our public safety issues here. They are the on the ground staff and team that helps to go out to encampments and do the physical transitioning of and providing of services with those who are unhomed. And so everything that you've heard in the news, that's the team that does it. I had sent an email to you with this request. He's interested in being part of the public officials report. I believe that what he does, and actually what he does with Northwest and what he does for Northwest, gives a lot of enlightenment of public safety issues and of other things that may not come in the SLO report, in Dan Brown's report. And so I think it would be a good addition and supplement of information as to how the actual changes are going throughout the city, but also right here in Northwest. We are very privileged, blessed to have Armando in right here in our own council area. So
thank you, Councilwoman Henry. I think that those are two excellent topics. What does the rest of the executive board think on agendizing those things?
It's agreeable to me. I think it's a good idea.
Yeah, fine with me.
and then there's one more item, but for a future time. Alma Backyard Farms is opened up.
One second. We had
Oh, sorry.
Melanie Lebrecq, Madam Treasurer Melanie Lebrecq had her hand up. Go ahead, Melanie.
Yeah, I just wanted to address the other two things that I had to address with you. So when you're ready after Gwen's done or whatever, we need to agendaize for the executive board that we really have to address. One of the things is quorum of a quorum. We have a couple of committees that have 8 board members on them. And there was something that came up before you were on the board here that Diana Nave addressed, that the city attorney had said, and something in Octaviano's email too, that he said about when we're doing emails, you can't email more than 5 people because then you have a quorum of a quorum and you're discussing decisions before it comes to the board. So it's like voting before it actually goes to the board. So committees, they had said before, Diana Nave, but they never put it in the standing rules, where there has to be no more than 4 or 5 board members on a committee. Voting board members. We need to address that and really address it so it's official in our standing rules or in our bylaws, and find out for sure what the guidance is on that and make it official, because like I said, there's a couple of committees that have like 8 board members on them. The other thing is we need to discuss whether or not we're meeting the 11th for a regular board meeting in October, because that's Indigenous Day. So we need to figure out if that officially is going to be our meeting day or a different day for our board.
Yeah, it's a worthy discussion for us to have. I think that sort of the genesis, which I understand.
There's something wrong with your mic, Christian.
Christian, we cannot understand you.
Your mic is messed up, Christian.
Yeah, we're having problems.
But there's a workaround that I used to use that was to just do a meeting and
You're still lost. You should find a spot. There was a moment where we could hear you a bit better.
He's gone now. Whoops. There he is.
All right, well, while we're waiting for Christian to come back. Yeah, the issue of a quorum, the last I read, it's extensive email chains. I think, if I remember correctly, that the story was that we got essentially sort of verbal or unofficial. I mean, I don't want us to do anything that's, that's really outside the rules or illegal, obviously. However, if we have people like, let's say, Octaviano saying, oh, you need to do this or whatever, we can't get anything in writing from the, I mean, the city attorney is more than willing to send us stuff in writing on a bunch of other issues. And I think in this case, we should expect at least that kind of service so that we have a clear guideline of what we can and can't do, and then plan
I
accordingly.
agree, Chris, and that's kind of what I was looking for. We really need to approach that to get it in writing
Right,
and kill this bird like right now,
And then it goes to, but then once we, and I mean, the fact that it's not in our bylaws now, I mean, there's obviously a great big hole here that if we haven't received specific direction and we haven't taken any of our own, then it's not really a rule. I mean,
well, Diana was aware of it, but she says for some reason it got missed being added is what she told me.
Yeah, well, I mean, and that's the thing though, it doesn't, being aware of it and it being missed, it's like, that means it's not a rule. It's like, well, I know I'm supposed to stop at the corner, but they didn't put up any signs. So, well, no, I mean, we have to have, even if it's our own direction, even if we just decide arbitrarily, we're going to put this in there and maybe they'll tell us that it's, like, well, we should pick one thing or the other and just not have to worry about it anymore because it's,
I agree.
It's been assumed, but not really tested and not really established. So, Christian, are you around? All right, well, let me, we'll go to Gwen and then Vic. Gwen, go ahead. Gwen, are you there?
Oh, there we
Okay,
go.
I think
Okay, am I now
Hi.
unmuted?
let's come to order. I think that this is a very meaty topic, but since it's not directly on the agenda, I think that we might want to take up our agenda first. That's what I would suggest, is we take up the agenda items, get those set for our regular board meeting, and then I think we could come back to this. That's my suggestion.
Makes sense to me.
But this is an item that is suggested for the agenda, so we are discussing an item that is applicable to the agenda.
Yeah, I understand that, but I gave a draft agenda to the executive board, and I think if we start with that and then kind of modify it like the suggestions we heard from our other council people, that might just get us in a more orderly way to, in a more efficient way to get this done today. Would that be possible?
Well, I'm confused because just like the things that were brought up earlier, this is another item that is modifying the agenda that you are talking about. So what's the difference?
Well, did the executive board members look at the draft agenda that I sent out?
I did.
I did.
Yes,
Okay,
Vic made a couple of changes.
excellent. Okay, well, Vic, let's make Vic co-host if he'd be willing, and then he could screen share that. And I think that would be a good place to start. And then we can add in whatever we were just discussing. And after we see if the draft is looking good so far, would that be possible?
Also, if Gwen might want to add, she's on the bylaws committee. I don't know if they've addressed this at the bylaws committee, because I know Diana was going to bring it up. She has her hand up.
Can I speak? Yeah, you guys can hear me. Yeah, well, with that, Melanie, the things that we're discussing, it still has to go through the procedure. What we generally do is we go through and work on crafting the language when these things happen. And remember that nothing is done quickly. The standing rules can be changed at any time, but there is still that process of committee and procedure, and then a vote. The bylaws themselves go through a cycle of 2 years. So in regards to clarification, it may be redundant. There are some times where there are redundancies that you want to be careful of. So the crafting of that is sometimes something to really consider. But the issue itself is, yes, it's a topic amongst others that we are working on for the agenda. I mean, in elections and bylaws. Forgive me.
Do you happen to know if it's on her stuff for this meeting?
We did not we did not craft language at that time, so it's still within the process. Yeah, do remember that's probably one of the things that you want to be most cautious with and really craft before changing. So
Does anyone know the workflow that is? So where does this start? Is it something that the board gives bylaws
Yes,
permission to work on? So it needs to
Yes.
go to the board before we really get it going.
the board could say we direct the bylaws committee to draft something up and
Right,
research.
and that would be the motion at the full board.
Yes,
Okay. And so our role would be to get that on the agenda for them to vote on.
exactly.
Okay.
but we also take feedback in different situations, such as in the elections. And that brings up, I don't know what the agenda item is for the topic regarding standing rules and bylaws right now, but I'm hoping that it's also been agendized here to talk about censure procedures.
Yeah, but that's a different topic entirely, though.
Okay, thank you.
Vic, do you think you could share the draft agenda? You think you could screen share that draft agenda for us?
I could probably do it. I'll just pull up the email.
Yeah, because everybody got it and it changed on the one that you said we could edit.
So is that like one of those Google doc?
Yeah, it's that Google one that he sent that said you could edit it.
Let me find it.
I can do it.
Yeah,
if you need me
let's
to.
put that up. Any of you, that'd be fine.
Yeah, I'm digging for it.
And Vic, to answer your question as to why we might want to stay within an order of an agenda, it's simply for the benefit of the secretary. When things get a little bit nuts, and it can.
That wasn't my point. My point was that Christian was saying, let's go with the agenda, or it's not on the agenda and we're modifying the agenda. But the other things we discussed, we're doing the same thing, modifying the agenda for Monday's meeting.
Right, this is the purpose of this meeting, is to set that agenda.
I didn't, what?
The purpose of this meeting is to set that agenda for the board meeting.
Right, which is my point of confusion with what Christian said about waiting to come back to the quorum of a quorum issue, because that is an item that we're talking about putting on the agenda. So there's no reason to come back to it. in my opinion.
Well, thank you for your comment, Mr. Secretary. I think that the logic is, if we look at the agenda that's on the screen and then we like all the things that are there, then we can say, okay, the quorum of a quorum issue can go at number 10 or can go at number 9. And we'll be able to say, because we like the draft so far, let's fit in those new things wherever we want to fit them in. So I think it would just it would give us a better perspective. So, I mean, for example, if you're cool with the draft, then where would you like the quorum of a quorum discussion to be at? Like what number?
Executive committee report, probably.
I understand that logic, but we already agreed that 2 other or 3 other items would be on the agenda. So what makes the quorum of a quorum issue different from those? That's my point. So if we're gonna change routine now and go through the agenda or the proposed agenda, that's fine. But we need to be consistent with what we're doing.
Okay, I appreciate that. And I heard Madam Treasurer give executive report as an option, and I think that's a decent option. I think I recommend that. Would anyone else like us to take up that item under the executive committee?
Yeah, I think we might as well. It'll be well packaged that way.
Okay, well, Melanie, you propose it. I agree. Chris agrees. So I think that we'll take it up there. So what's next?
Is executive committee even on there?
No, it's not.
It's not.
Oh,
on
okay.
there.
I can add it then. I can add it, or we can add it. And then Diana wanted us to take up the planning committee first because we had not taken up her report in the past couple meetings. So I propose that we have planning as the first committee report, and then we could take up executive after that.
Okay.
Since Diana is also bylaws and elections, should we leave those 2 together?
Well, maybe do the quorum thing before she does her bylaws presentation, because then she can go into explaining it after.
That makes sense.
Okay, that's fine too.
Okay, I like that.
May I interject here? There is a possibility that the bylaws and elections committee might already have some wording or a proposal of some type in regards to this.
That's why we're doing it first and mentioning it, and then she can say,
And they
oh,
could comment during that report. Yeah.
Sounds good.
Okay, I like that. So the other thing that we had was a potential additional report by an official, so we could add them during our public officials part. And then what was the suggestion before that? I'm sorry.
Well, Christian already highlighted on here, or Victor, about the quorum, the board meeting on Indigenous Day on the 11th. What are we going to do about that?
That's something that's typically been, I mean, I just out of recollection in the past, it's been
Didn't we
something
vote
that,
on it?
yeah, that's something that was put to the board more or less live. That is, we would like in anticipation of that and other holidays, typically the month before, if not farther in advance, Ray would just essentially poll the board and we would sort of do a live vote and see if that date was acceptable or not.
We probably need to get an alternate day on hand though, in case.
Well, yeah, we would need to propose one. It would be faster if we tried to find one now than if we did it live in front of the entire
Just
board.
give them an alternate day, like, I mean.
I think that I would say
Do it
taking a live
Tuesday.
poll on that might bog us down time-wise. So
Oh.
I'd like to just do a doodle poll beforehand, and I can start asking everyone now. And then you can all email me your preferences now, and then maybe by the board meeting, I'll make an announcement about
Why not off
that
either
we need
that
to
or
schedule.
the Tuesday? Christian, what about that or the Tuesday following, the 12th?
First thing we need to do
I
is,
think that's the same date as Central's meeting. I'm not positive.
Oh, is it?
I think so. So I have to double check on that.
I'm saying before you send out any proposed dates, find out what dates our committees meet and things like that.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Okay, what was the other suggestion we got earlier, though? Well, it was before that new public report, public official
Oh,
report. There was one other one, I think.
Oh, wait, you know what? On number 11, look at it, Christian. Look what number 11 says.
Well, I put those in there just to,
That probably needs to not. Those things probably, the Scott is, and all of that.
Oh, Scott and Armando, those would both be public officials, right? So we could put it under there potentially.
Armando
Yeah.
Cabrera would be a public official, and the representative from Congresswoman Barragan's office and Dianne Feinstein, I would hope would be in a presentation.
That'd have to be scheduled ahead of time, another meeting and ahead of time for a
Ahead of time?
presentation, because that takes more time.
Well, then public official, because Scott had a PowerPoint. It wasn't, you know, it's very informative. I think it's important to.
Yeah, but if it's a PowerPoint, then it's a presentation. I mean, when we have reports from public officials, usually they have a pre-established format and more or less a predictable amount of time. If we're going to be, you know, I take the point that if it's a presentation in fact, then it should be treated as such, unless it's a regular public official that we plan on. I mean, you know, we have others that don't report to us regularly, but we do more or less have a standard, you know, whether it's Augie from the Port or Officer Brown or things like that.
But as Coastal had taken up this issue, and I had been keeping you guys in the loop for the last 2 weeks, and I would hope that we could possibly schedule that. And there is a slim possibility that one or neither official will be able to provide the report, simply because Nanette Barragan's office is severely understaffed.
Well, I mean,
that's
and
why
I think
last month.
in terms of scheduling a presentation, I think we need to hear from the people who will be making it in terms of how long and what they need. You know, if it's a public official or someone, a representative, we have a regular relationship, that's one thing because we anticipate their presence. If it's somebody who may or may not present, I mean, it won't necessarily hurt us if they're not there or if they're not ready, but just in terms of our own, you know, schedule, I'd like to have more like a direct conversation with them or some communication so we know what we're asking for.
It was about a 5-minute presentation, but there was about 20 minutes of questions.
20 minutes of questions from whom?
From different people on the board. And
Oh, that's what happened at Central?
correct, at Coastal, yes.
Coastal.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, what do you guys think? Because it's not, you know, obviously it's not unprecedented that we have somebody more or less pop in or come in with a short notice. I mean, I don't have any, you know, objection to it. What?
I'd been working on it since that meeting. And it's just because of the tremendous turnover that it was difficult to arrange. But I received very favorable feedback from Dianne Feinstein's office. So, and if anything, there is a printed report which I would be able to provide for the packet. That came from her office.
Yeah, usually presenters request to present. They're the ones that request and talk to either Christian or whoever about their presentation.
Unless it's an issue that they weren't eager to present on, but it was by request.
Well, are they planning to, I mean, did they make any kind of communication that they wanted to or intended to attend the meeting. I just want to like,
Sean, yes, Sean is continually given me positive in that. There are, but what has been difficult is that I did call today to confirm the confirmation and he was unavailable. So this is why I'm giving this caveat and stipulation, because
well,
the
I think that's probably not, I don't think it's, I mean, for me personally, it's not a problem to put it on the agenda under public officials. And if it's simply just a matter of confirming it with him later.
Yes, Scott
And
is the cleanup of illegal, of the hazmat out in the water, right?
correct.
Okay,
Okay.
and so just in terms of having it on the agenda, if we put it in under public officials and he doesn't show or whatever happens, then we're not losing anything. It's just a line of text on the document. So I think it's probably fine that we put it up there.
Yep.
And I will try to have at least the PowerPoint available on the site that Scott had provided, and then revisit it next month if they are unable to attend for any reason.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's a reasonably important issue, maybe not like urgently pressing, but something I think we should probably keep on, keep a focus on if at all possible. So.
Interestingly enough, the one main point for both representatives, both of our federal, our national representatives, was that what they really need stakeholders to do is to be active in this. Oh, Armando Cabrera, I sent an email actually, Victor.
Since I'm doing this right now, can you give me a quick topic line?
Oh,
'Cause I
sorry.
can't open the email right now.
Hold on, I'm juggling it. Here, let me give you the byline here. Oh, the Department of Sanitation, LA Sands Environmental Compliance Inspector, the Livability
What
Services
is it
Department.
about?
It's regarding all of the homeless encampments that have been swept up and cleaned out, and public safety within our own community. Armando Cabrera, being the environmental compliance inspector, has actually been, I mean, they liaise with LAPD, our harbor officers. He has been directly responsible for public safety issues within our own Northwest.
We just need to.
What is the single topic? If you had to say what this was about, what would be your title?
Armando Cabrera giving a report on unsheltered and encampments and the cleanup. But he will also probably be discussing what the Livability Services Department is within the Department of Sanitation.
Yeah, but we just need a title.
What is the main topic of this line item?
I would just say LA San Environmental Compliance Inspector. That's
good enough.
Yeah.
I think that's perfect.
That's all I need.
Thank you, Mr. Vice President.
Now, what is Scott's last name?
Are you talking about the DDT report?
If
No,
that's the gentleman from the network conference, then I get that. Is it the gentleman from the network conference?
I can't understand you. And where is this illegal dumping? Is this off the PV Peninsula?
this is the DDT. This is a report. This is a report from from Congresswoman Nanette Barragan and Senator Dianne Feinstein on the DDT cleanup, the funding of DDT cleanup out in the channel.
The channel meaning what? There's the San Pedro channel, there's the Long Beach channel, there's the PV, is this the PV Peninsula?
It's
Is
the
this-
main one that is in all three. It's in Long Beach, San Pedro, and the cat and off of PV.
Okay, what is he gonna be talking about? What location, or is it all of them?
It's all of it. It's federal funding to address the DDT contamination of the channel, the entire channel.
We probably
is
need to
that-
move
is
on,
what I
everybody.
put there
We're
good enough
spending
for an
way too
overall
much
discussion?
time on this
Yeah.
one subject.
It's
Yeah,
not
let's
that long.
come back to order. We can just keep that as a placeholder title for now, and then Gwen, if you want to give it to us as something
I
more
will
succinct, we can do that. I
give
can just
you-
add that in, and then,
Give
so
me
if
a
he's gonna come and talk on that, I think that's okay.
What is
That's all
Scott's last
right,
name?
executive board members.
It's
Leave that as D as a placeholder.
STRGACICH.
Wait, STR,
GACICH.
like that?
Yep. He's a field aid special projects coordinator.
No, it's not Scott. Don't do Scott. It's not Scott. It's
Okay,
Who
you
is
said
it?
Scott.
We
What
just
is-
add offshore. That's an adjective.
Lori has her hand up.
Yeah, I saw that. After this one is honed in on, let's move on to Lori Jacobs.
I was trying to speak on this issue.
Go ahead.
Okay, well, first of all, I thought she was referring to Scott Stragich out of Nanette Berrigan's office, so I gave you that information in the chat. And normally in the past, we don't identify what the public official is going to talk about. You just put public official, you put their name and their office, and then they speak on a topic. I'm just letting you know that's been the normal process in the past.
also Scott Sturgis, I said, is no longer with the office. There's been tremendous staff shortages over at Nanette Berrigan's.
Then
you
just
know the name of
list,
the
then just
person?
list
Okay,
representative from Nanette
everybody, one at a
Berrigan.
time, please. Do you
Yeah.
know the name of the person who's there now?
The person who will be giving the report. will
Yeah,
be one of two
Thank you,
people.
Mr. Vice President.
That's
That is an excellent reminder that we really don't want to talk over each other. So let's just tend to allow someone to finish their sentence before we
Well, I
move
didn't
on
finish when
to
I was
hearing.
talking. So you don't need a name. You just say representative from Nanette Berrigan's office. That's all you need.
Yes, thank you. Thank you, Lori.
Okay,
That's a good, I like that.
Is that how you spell it?
Barragan.
And there's an
Yeah.
accent over the A.
I picked the wrong one. Okay, are we gonna, given what Lori said, are we going to put the topic or just the name?
I think we can leave the topic there. If you wanted to change Armando Cabrera to LA San, it would shorten it, just, and it would be consistent.
Good enough?
Yeah, it's actually one acronym, but yeah, that's fine.
Oh, okay.
Looks good. You think, are we good to move forward from here?
It's 5:15.
Of the other floating items that we were considering for inclusion on the agenda, have those all been, yeah, that looks good. Have those all been covered? So we got public officials, we got the quorum of quorum. Was there another one, Melanie?
I can't talk about the EVG, so we can't put that on the agenda.
Okay,
Yeah, it's really weird. It's a closed group and Brown acted.
yeah, that's fine. But just in terms of the agenda, we ready? We can.
We have to do the board, do whatever the doodle or whatever for the October 11th.
Oh, right. And that would be, well, that would go in the executive report, right? Where we try and figure it out.
Yeah. Are we gonna talk about the other thing in the room? As far as the other issue with Armando?
Well, I don't have we gotten any new information? I mean, I think, essentially we already know the part that, like, just by virtue of our being here now on the executive committee, that most, I mean, except for, Victor, obviously, most of us can't really participate past that point anyway. I think we were sort of pending some kind of official input. Has anyone reached out for that? I mean, because I think it would have to then be taken forward by Victor to kind of organize and then present.
Well, Christian said he was going to talk to the city attorney. Has that been done?
Oh, he disappeared.
Because originally Octaviano said in the email that the city attorney needed to be consulted on this.
Right. And I think it's probably the president's role to do so.
Yeah, especially in this circumstance.
Right. Where, I mean, other, our current discussion of this notwithstanding, that really officially, we, again, I think because Victor is directly involved, all the rest of us are more or less just bystanders until it actually becomes more official than this. But I don't think there's anything to, I don't think there's anything to include on the agenda for this next upcoming meeting.
Exactly. And my concern was we want this to be efficient, and we want it to be precise and not come back with egg all over.
Oh yeah, no. I mean, it really must be done properly. And I just, unfortunately, we're, if we're waiting for city attorneys, it is going to be based on their sense of how urgent this is. I don't know if they're going to be anxious to get back to us on it quickly or not, but we certainly won't be able to move until we're sure what, that position is. But again, it's not worth doing, improperly prepared for.
Yeah, we don't know enough to put it on the agenda for this one.
Exactly. Yeah. Okay. Well, now I do not. Let me look in the. Oh, I'm double checking attendees. I see Gwen and Lori. I do not see Christian. Okay, so have we? So in terms of page 1 on the agenda, we're all good essentially on what appears there? Okay, and so let's scroll down to page 2 and see if there's any tinkering to be done with that one.
So we have, it says see attached document for appointment of committee members and liaisons. Approval of executive officers as additional Zoom administrators. Okay, we've got that. So we're going to take care of the Zoom situation because I still don't have my public safety Zoom meetings, even though I requested them with dates.
Yeah, that's not we don't have a great situation with that because, and I don't even know how official it is really. There's only one login. There's only one account that has the access to do that. So it would either be Christian or to whomever he might delegate that. And I'm not even sure if that's supposed to happen that way or if that's simply a matter of them just getting a fixed number.
I think Vic is the most organized person to technical wise to be able to do that. I think he would be perfect to take it.
Well, yeah, but I mean, again, the issue is not of propriety. It's that there's only one login that has been given to the president. So I don't even know if we're supposed to like give that to other people, but
he can give it to someone else.
Okay, well then,
he can give the duty over to somebody else.
yeah, I mean, and then I've used the login to start meetings and things before. I have not used it to create or put things on the calendar. But that's really more of I mean, that's not about this agenda. That's about just our kind of nuts and bolts behind the scenes stuff. And then Christian will have to address that.
So we need to be off by 5:25 so the next meeting can start.
Right. Okay.
Yeah.
So then, so I see Lori has her hand raised. Let's go ahead and.
Thank you,
Yeah.
Chris.
Oh, go ahead.
Just on the item for youth and outreach, please add your name. Report is Chris Valle and Lori Jacobs, or just put your name.
Oh, okay.
Okay, and then on port committee, I see that you just have Craig's name, but isn't he a co-chair with Christian?
Yeah,
Yeah,
So usually you just put slash and put the other person or whatever, or just put, you can, you know, for the port committee, it's up to you. I don't, unless Christian asked you not to put his name there.
okay.
there.
And what does it say under above other reports? What does it say? Civic U?
Yeah,
What-
civic U appointments.
What is
Oh.
that, Vic? You added that.
Actually, Christian put that on.
Was that, I thought that was the, am I confusing that with the tech liaison
No,
training?
no, Civic U is actually, if I can
It's for
answer
you.
for you, it's a class that you
Oh, I've
attend.
been, no,
did
I
the
know
first
it,
one.
I know what it is. I just didn't know that we were doing
But
it.
if you're going to appoint somebody, that should be up above, like we're under consent calendar or something.
I just didn't know,
and-
I didn't know
and-
that we were taking that up at all. I didn't know that was.
All right,
active.
well, with Christian not being here, I couldn't tell you. And what you need to know too, well, no, you can't really list it under consent because you don't have any names of people.
Yeah, well, we'll have to have him explain that. I mean, it's on the agenda, so.
Yeah, it should
maybe-
be under executive committee maybe. And
maybe.
then you also need to know how many people can be appointed. So maybe put it as a second item under executive. That would make more sense if I may throw my
Yep,
2 pennies in. And
Okay,
yeah,
there.
all right. And I see Gwen has her hand raised. Go ahead.
I just wanted to make sure that my notes on what to put for the DDT discussion presentation are seen in the comments.
Which comments?
Questions, sorry, questions. Can you see the questions, Q&A?
Hold on just a moment. Hold on. No, never
We
mind.
don't need to put those notes on the agenda, Gwen.
Yeah,
yeah.
That
That's
doesn't
what-
need to go on the agenda.
No, that's part of her report.
Mitigating that's what Coastal did.
Well, we're not coastal.
okay, guys. It's, if the item, if again, I think, if I'm not mistaken, please correct me if I'm wrong, that if we have the heading, a fairly descriptive heading, then all of the other relevant stuff is automatically included. It doesn't need to be listed
regard-
specifically.
but
It's
in
just to make sure.
Correct. That's
yeah,
correct,
that's
Chris.
fine.
But
Right.
can I interject here? What is stated there about Nanette Barragon's office is inaccurate, and it could also be Senator Dianne Feinstein's office. So it's representative from US Rep or Congresswoman or Congress member.
We could just say federal. Why don't we just say federal? It'll include the entire federal government, but we only need one line. It does not have to be a.
We didn't even used to identify those, Chris. We just put elected
Okay.
officials and whoever showed up, you called on.
All right, guys.
Okay. Sounds good.
Yeah, that's, I think what we have there satisfies what we need. All right, so we have just a couple minutes left over before, I'm assuming, hopefully Christian's off to start the other meeting because I'm
Yeah.
not prepared to do so. But can we scroll down then and double check the rest of the items here? Okay, so yeah, I do see the item at the, so I'm assuming by the time we get to the end of the meeting, we will, which is typically where we would have discussed it in the past, the alternate meeting dates, but it's not going to hurt anybody to have it there as well. If we get it out of the way at the beginning of the meeting or not, then it'll, before we adjourn, we'll have a reminder to look at that.
Chris, I would really put that under the executive committee. You have to nail the meeting date.
Yeah, you nail the meeting date out the gate, so maybe put that also under the executive committee.
Just a suggestion.
It is already there.
It is?
I thought it was. Can we go?
No, it's not.
Mm-mm.
Not under the executive committee, it isn't.
Did we discuss? I thought we discussed putting it up there.
Yeah.
But Christian did say that he was